Do you think The Hobbit should have been made before Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Thanks, Jedi. Next up. Jedi.
I'm so sorry, old mate. I couldn't resist it. There's a wonderful description of Ben Jonson by Drummond of Hawthorne, in which he says, he would sooner lose a friend than lose a jest. And sometimes I fall into that evil category. It would have been nice, but you know what? No one believed that, no one was prepared to give up The Hobbit. Everyone knew it was a gold mine, but it was so contested over, and so many people had a finger in the pie that everyone was too jealous to let it go. In a way, Lord of the Rings had to be made and demonstrated to be a huge gold mine for everyone involved. And even then, they didn't want Peter Jackson to develop it, to do it. And so it was that long, cunning, patient game that PJ played, because all along, the film he really wanted to make was The Hobbit. And now he's doing it, and we are going to have a masterpiece by a master.
What's the favorite character you've ever played in all of the movies you've been in?
The next one. You know, it's sort of like, you know those days that you have when you have a lot of fun, you know, and they're great days. You're not a terribly old fellow yet. But I remember there were days in my childhood which were just golden days. The very best day that I ever had. And guess what? There was another day that was the very best day that I ever had. And if you can make your life up with very best days that you've ever had, you'll have had a splendid life. And actors' careers are a bit like that. Every character we create, most characters we create, are fun. We create them out of love. And we're in love with them. And then they come to an end and we think, oh, a bit sad. And then another character comes along, we get to play that as well. It's just, look, I'm a lucky old man. I'm 68 and still playing cowboys and Indians.
Another question from a not terribly old fella.
Yeah.
Which Indiana Jones movie that you were in did you prefer better, Raiders or Last Crusade?
Oh, it's a difficult one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was talking to Steven Spielberg the other day, and I happened to say, I said to him, Steven, you do realize, don't you, that 1 and 3 are the best ones? Now, what was there missing in 2 and 4? Good question. I love them both, to be honest with you.
Look at this costume. Looking good.
What was your favorite and least favorite scene in Lord of the Rings?
Maybe to shoot, I suppose, like work on.
Yeah.
So they were all good scenes.
That you were in.
You know, you make something like that, and it is such a huge film. There's so many people involved in it. And yet it's all put together little piece by little piece. And sometimes a scene can take days. Sometimes a scene can take weeks. I seem to remember when we were in the quarry trying to do some of the battle scenes right towards the end, you know. I seem to remember cold water pouring down my back for several years, it seemed. You understand that you can't have rain in a scene. You can't just let ordinary rain happen, because rain doesn't happen to order. So you have a nice, perfectly cold night that's dry and everyone's happy, and then you turn the fire hoses on and it comes down and finds that little gap down between your back, down between the chainmail, running right down your back, and those nice dry underpants that you have on slowly sort of filled with water, and you stand there. You know. It's a glamorous job.
Well, that was only half an answer, because that was obviously not an enjoyable experience. What was the best moment of shooting Lord of the Rings, where you felt so rewarded?
Well, I suppose the best moment of seeing of Lord of the Rings was hearing Peter Jackson chuckle. We used to shoot the films, shoot the scenes, and he'd get, well, he had scripted, and then he would say, "All right, Johnny, I cut you loose now." And every time I would improvise, and every time I heard him giggle, I would know that there was something that was at least going to be in the first cut. But no, it's a sort of common assumption that actors do not get on well with each other. Most of the joy of filmmaking is actually sitting in a chair with your fellow actors and gossiping or talking about anything and everything way into the night sometimes. And Lord of the Rings was the one film that I wasn't there much of the time. It took so long to put the makeup on, and once the makeup was on, I had to really keep very still, stay in my trailer, and so a lot of the fellowship that normally happens didn't happen. And I missed out on that terribly. I used to say, and I still say, there was only one miserable son of a bitch on that whole production, and I wore his boots every day. Yeah.
We'll go to the next question.
Didn't really answer my question. What was your favorite scene? Not thing in the movie.
Everyone's a critic, eh? Okay. All right.
Feisty
Favorite scene, I suppose, would probably be, when we're just about to be discovered by. Well, no, there's so many good scenes, aren't there?
Yep.
You know, what was your favorite scene?
My favorite scene was probably when you got trampled by other wargs.
I beg your pardon. I do not get trampled by anyone. The dwarves. Is that a bloody elf back there? Another scheming little pointy-eared elf trying to claim credit? I mean, anyone can use a bow. That doesn't count, laddie. Who says you have to be graceful when you lose?
I guess we have to go on.
Well, that was a tough act to follow. But I realize I run the risk of asking a very long question and getting a very short answer. However, that might be the answer. However, was it your dealings with the Gargoyles cast as the voice of Macbeth in dealing with many of the bridge crew of Next Generation that led to the connection that got you the role in Voyager?
The common connection throughout was a hungry agent. And thank God for hungry agents. That's all I can say. You know what? You do something, you have fun, you get along with people, and guess what? The next time people are getting together, they say, who's the idiot we can use to play this? They go for you. Work begets work, and that's why actors shouldn't be too hoity-toity about what they do and what they accept. Truth of the matter is, almost any part can be fun, and actually I go to work to have fun, basically, and sometimes that can be pretty grim, but you can have fun in grimness. Look, I just like getting up and going to work. I like to walk onto a set and look around, see the camera crew and the sound department, make the old gags and look at my fellow actors and think, I haven't a clue how I'm going to play this scene, so why don't I just listen? You know, and the moment my fellow actor opens his mouth and says the first line, I think, right, okay, then I answer that. Good acting is basically about listening. Actually, it's basically, but not the whole thing, but it's basically about listening. And the 94 times a day that I'm a bad actor is when I stop listening. It's got better. It used to be 97 times a day, and 30-odd years ago, so I've improved. But work begets work, and you must know that. And just facility, just practice. Acting's a muscle. You know, if you don't use it, it atrophies. If you use it, well, with a bit of luck, you'll manage to swim the next mile or whatever. Does that sort of answer the question?
Yeah, that actually does make a lot of sense.
All right. Are you an actor?
No, I am not.
Very good. Well, probably just as well.
It's for the best.
Never mind. Thank you.
Well, really quickly, let me ask, you know, you touched on gargoyles. You've done a lot of voice work, obviously, in Lord of the Rings as well. But you were just saying you really enjoy the aspect of acting, getting to talk with the other actors into the hours, whereas voice acting tends to be a very solitary thing. So do you have a preference for...
Actually, no. You often get a group of actors in the studio making a film happen, and it can be quite raucous and funny a lot of the time. It's all just overcoming the barriers to communicating, but to making something come to life, and they're just different challenges. That's all. You do them. I mean, we think of what a mechanic or an engineer or a builder does every day. You know, the wall is never the same. You may have built it several times, in different ways, but every job is a fresh and different challenge, and we don't acclaim the competency of a builder or anything like that. Do you know what that guy he's built 3-4 different walls, We don't do that. Come on, we're all professionals. We get on and do it. It's easy, really, after a while.
Hal-Con!